at the outset, I would like to thank the Surgical Society of Bangalore for giving us this opportunity to host the 7th monthly clinical meeting. It is indeed a great honor and privilege. And without much ado, we'll start with the teaching, PG teaching. I have put together, and Dr. Niranjan have put together, with the help of Dr. Rajshekhar Reddy, a few interesting clinical scenarios, because looking at what had happened in the last 2-3 meetings, we thought this is probably the best way of going forward, especially now that the DNB and all exams are going to be online. So this one, ask keys and things are going to become the order of the day. So we thought we'll do it this way. So Hari, start the presentation. Next slide. Okay. This is a young girl, about 23 years of age. For the last 1.5 to 2 years, she's been having a lot of problems with abdominal pain, weight loss, diarrhea, loss of appetite, and fever and feeling unwell. She has seen about 3 or 4 gastroenterologists and 2 or 3 surgeons, and they were all in a quandary as to what exactly is going on. So let me now ask one of the PGs, Vanita, can I start with you? Can you please describe what you're seeing on the screen?
Sir, it's a intraoperative specimen of large bowel, I think, sir.
Can you be more specific? What is it likely to be?
Sir,
Large bowel, which area of the large bowel?
Could be
Okay,
sigmoid
if
colon,
if you can you describe what you're seeing on the cut section? Correct, you are absolutely right. So
yes.
what are you seeing on the cut section? The mucosal aspect of it. What are you seeing? Can you describe it?
Sir, it is
Ajit?
thickening, I can see, sir, and stricture at some part.
Correct. Yeah, there is a stricture, and also there is mucosal edema. There is what is called as the classical cobblestoning, and you can see the inflammation is throughout. It is transmural inflammation with ulceration, stricture formation, and cobblestoning. That is, there is thickening of the mucosa and the edematous mucosa. In between, the lining is stretched, and that gives an appearance of a cobblestone. So this is classical appearance of Crohn's disease. Next slide. Okay, so let us come to Prashant. Prashant, can you tell me how do you manage this patient? She's got multiple perineal fistula. She has severe abdominal pain, weight loss, and diarrhea, and multiple perianal abscesses with fistula formation. And the histology is not very sure what it is. They're worrying whether it is lymphoma, whether it is malignancy, tuberculosis, Crohn's disease. It was not, multiple colonoscopic biopsies were not conclusive. So how will you manage this patient? Prashant?
So first of all, we should get a tissue diagnosis, sir.
No, I'm telling you, it is difficult. They have tried and it's not been possible. They have not been many multiple biopsies.
Yes, sir. Many multiple biopsies.
Multiple colonoscopic biopsies have been done. She's even had a PET CT. Apart from this area, apart from the perineum and sigmoid, there has been no other problem. So previously she had ileocecal involvement, but that is now clear. Even PET CT, there is no evidence of any inflammation there. There are no lymph nodes or anything to go by. So this is the only area. And multiple colonoscopic biopsies, the colonoscope could not go through the stricture, so they cannot actually access more proximal areas. So this is all we have. We can't have any more histology proof. So how will you proceed?
So I will get on CT scan done, sir.
CT, PET CT, CT, all has been done. PET CT shows very thickened sigmoid stricture and severe inflammation of the perineum, multiple fistulae. Even transrectal ultrasound shows multiple fistulae. So that is the clinical picture.
So then I will go ahead with an
what are you going to do?
What is your differential diagnosis or diagnosis? You want to give us the diagnosis or differential diagnosis?
The differentials, maybe it can be due to malignancy, or maybe because of Crohn's disease, sir.
You see multiple fistulas in malignancy. Age
Malignancy, it
23.
23
is
years
not
of age.
common, sir.
23
Malignancy,
years of
the multiple strictures are not uncommon, sir.
Okay, so what is the most
It is only
likely
single stricture, sigmoid stricture with multiple fistulae, perianal abscess and fistulae. What is your most common the diagnosis there?
The most commonly, it may be due to tuberculosis, sir, in India, or Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
So
Most
since you are not
likely,
able to get a tissue diagnosis, we can go ahead and do a resection, sir,
okay.
in this case.
What will you do? Resection and
Will you do a resection anastomosis?
So anastomosis is probably difficult in case, sir. I can do an
why can't you do
colostomy or diversion.
anastomosis?
It's not difficult. It is not desirable because you have very bad perineal disease, and you have a very bad stricture with severe inflammation of the rectosigmoid area coming up to the descending colon. So
Okay.
you resect that area, you get histology proof, and then you want fecal diversion because the perineum has to heal, multiple fistula has to heal. So one of the ways to doing it is diverting the fecal stream from perineum, from the anal canal and rectum, so that it allows the inflammation to settle and the fistula to heal. So you have to give her a colostomy. We did a laparoscopic assisted sigmoid colectomy and a colostomy, and then we put multiple cetons to these perineal fistula. So after this, can Munisekar, can you tell me what are you going to do? You have got
Biopsy revealed Crohn's.
biopsy shows it is Crohn's. What will you do? Munisekar? Anybody else wants to answer
Yes, sir.
from the PGs? Munisekar, quickly.
Yes,
We
sir.
don't have much time. What are you going to do?
Sir, we are going to improve the nutritional status of the patient.
Okay.
Then we'll start on azathioprine or Faisal, sulfasalazine, and after some improvement of the nutritional status, we'll go back for surgery, sir. I mean, after 3 months to reverse of the colostomy, sir.
See, the most important thing I told you, Niranjan has also stressed this multiple perineal fistula. What is the current standard of treatment in such situations? Biologicals. See, you have to consider giving biologicals. In this case, we have given her adalimumab for a period of 6 months. And once we gave adalimumab, for the fistula healed completely. We removed the cetons and there was no sepsis. We repeated the transrectal ultrasound, which showed no evidence of any fistula. We did a colonoscopy, both through looked at the sigmoid, and the sigmoid had been resected, the rectum, and then we looked at the entire colon. There was no evidence of any disease. All the inflammatory markers were normal, and we left it for another 6 months on azathioprine. And once she was stable and she had lost about 20 kilograms in weight, she put it all back on. She was looking healthy, and then we went back and did what I had done was the rectal stump, I had tagged it to the abdominal wall nearer the stoma, because many times it is very difficult in the presence of such inflammation and sepsis. The rectum will become fibrosed and it will get lost in the perineum, and many times it will be difficult to find it. So what we had done was we had tagged it to the stoma. So when we didn't do a laparotomy, we just went with the circumstomal incision and mobilized the stoma, and we got the hold of the rectal stump and did an anastomosis, and she recovered from that surgery. She's gone home. Now it is 1 year following surgery. She's on azathioprine. Her inflammatory markers are all normal. Fortunately, there is no evidence of disease so far, but she's very young, and whenever somebody presents with colonic and perineal Crohn's at a very young age, they are prone to developing further episodes of recrudescence, further episodes of this disease. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very wary that things can get worse. But so far, so good. she's under good control with azathioprine. We have not had to use the steroid so far, and I think we are doing reasonably well, but it can get worse. So the take home message is, in such situations, multiple gastroenterology surgeons involved, not being able to get the diagnosis. When we cannot get colonoscopic diagnosis, we have no other option but to resect the involved segment. When we are resect only the disease segment. The rectal stump has to be anchored close to the wound so that we can get it easily, and then give them biologicals. Biologicals sometimes are given up to 1 year. In the US, they can continue up to 5 years because it's extremely expensive, and there is no proof beyond one course of this biologicals that it is of any benefit. So we have only given her the full course once, and then she responded to that, and we have now treated her, and we have restored the anatomy back, and she's doing well. Go to the next slide. Okay.
Any other PG from any other institute?
Yeah.
Diagnosis looking at the CT.
Anybody? Please volunteer and answer.
Yes, sir. Multiple hydatitis disease, sir.
Why do you say that?
There is an axial.
Please speak up. You are right.
Multiple hypoattenuated.
I will butt in here. I will butt in here, please. When you're asked to describe a specimen or an X-ray, please describe it first and then give your diagnosis.
Yes,
It is the
correct.
CT
Describe
scan
what
of
you
the
see.
abdomen. CT scan of the abdomen and chest, sir.
Yeah, keep talking. We won't
Yes, sir.
interrupt you because there is very little time.
Don't
Sir,
pause, you have to be quick,
multiple
Mani.
well-defined spherical shaped hypoattenuated fluid-filled brood capsule, sir.
Okay.
So that's similarly in the axial coronal section, it is showing multiple hydatitis disease, sir. Filled
Of
with
where?
hydatitis fluid.
Where is it involving?
It is involving the right lung and liver, sir.
Okay. It's going transdiaphragmatic. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next slide, Hari. Hari, next
Yes, sir.
slide. So this is the surgical after surgery was done. Can anyone describe this? Prashant or
Sir, we can see multiple. Sir, we can see multiple data sets in the left side of the specimen, sir. In the right side, we can see drain, sir. I think.
what is the drain?
What is the drain?
ICD, sir.
Correct. So that's a post-operative picture showing that all the we'll describe the operation in the next slide. Saurav.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How do you approach this patient? The patient came with severe cough, weight loss, and breathlessness, fever to another institution. And when they did a chest X-ray, they saw massive pleural effusion, and they put an intercostal tube, and they found daughter cysts coming through this. So, what is your diagnosis in this patient?
So it is a case of multiple hydatidosis of the lungs, sir.
Do you get hydatid disease of the lungs primarily, or does it
No,
go
sir.
from?
The most common site is liver, sir.
Okay. Can you get hydatid disease of the lung directly without liver being involved?
Sir, yes, sir. We can get, but it is very rare.
Sure, that's a correct answer. So in this case, it was liver that was involved, and it had ruptured through the diaphragm and then entered the pleural cavity. So go to the next slide. Okay, this was the clinical information about this patient. Fever, cough, and breathlessness for 1 month, diagnosed with massive pleural effusion. And we have other specimens. We didn't put it up when we we did it thoracoscopically. Dr. Rajshekhar, do you want to come in and describe what you did?
We did a conventional utility port plus camera port incision, and we could see more than 2 liters of multiple data cysts evacuated both from the pleural cavity as well as the hydatid cyst from the liver. Through the diaphragmatic rent, we could evacuate the liver cyst also. Then we gave a wash and then decorticated the lung so that the lung could expand. And also we put a drain into the liver cavity and close the diaphragmatic vent. Patient did well. It was a very rare, unusual diagnosis, and I really don't expect any PG to describe these findings. I think that's best they have described. Continue.
Yeah, correct.
Anybody can name what is the ideal scolicidal agent which you put in when operating?
Anybody can answer these questions.
Any PG. But you have to be quick.
Niranjan, ನೀನೇ ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ.
Ideal is someone.
3% hypertonic saline.
That is not
20% hypertonic saline, sir.
Ideal is 0.5% cetrimide. Although hypertonic saline can be used, 3% is commonly used, but up to 20% is what is prescribed. Apart from that, there is 70 to 90% alcohol can also be used, but because of the toxicities, most of them are not used. So most commonly used is ideal either the cetrimide, diluted cetrimide, or 3% saline.
Okay, Prashant. See, Dr. Rajshekhar said we didn't actually have to do either a laparoscopy or a laparotomy. We were able to, manage both the pleural and the liver disease through the pleural, operating port only. And he said that we close the diaphragmatic rent and we put a drain into the liver. So
Yes, sir.
post-operatively on the second day, you see bile draining through the drain. So what will you do?
So I should quantify the bile, sir. First, it's coming, how much it is coming.
Yeah. Let us say it's about 200, 300 ml. What will you do?
So then I will wait and watch, sir. First, I'll get an ultrasound scan done, sir. Ultrasound abdomen pelvis.
Why?
To get the
What
collection.
is ultrasound going to tell you?
So it will tell the extent of the collection.
No, it's not
Coming
collection.
through the drain.
It is in the liver. The drain is in the substance of the liver because we have put it into the cavity where the cyst was. So, it is draining from the substance of the liver. It is not in the peritoneal cavity, the drain. So, how long will you wait? Is the question.
So probably if the drain quantity is decreasing day by day,
Yeah.
we can wait and watch, sir. If the drain is increasing, probably we can get one MRCP done and go ahead. We can wait for 3 to 5 days, sir.
See, as Dr. Lakshman was saying, when we talked about the hydatid cyst class, when you are doing a diagnostic laparoscopy and when you enter the liver cyst and drain do the marsupialization and remove all the cysts and wash it out, and if you see bile leak at that time and if you see bile radical, you are expected to suture the bile leak. But if you are not seen it, but in this case we didn't see it because we did it through the thoracoscopy. If there is bile leak, you wait and watch. Most of the time it will heal and settle on its own. If it doesn't, and if the amount keeps on increasing, then as you said, you have to do an MRCP, quantify or find out where it is leaking from. If you can stent it, you should stent it. Otherwise, you will have to then do a laparoscopy and laparoscopic suturing of this bile radical. Okay. Next one.
Okay.
How do you manage this patient further?
Correct. That good question, Niranjan. Anybody?
Is it the end of treatment, surgery? Patient is doing well. You removed all ICDs and abdominal drain. After that, what?
Ajit?
Albendazole, sir. Sir,
For how long?
Why?
We have-
Why and how long?
Sir,
Dose and how
400 mg we have to give for 1 month, sir. Then
400 mg is one dose or BD dose?
BD 400 mg
10 to
BD
15
albendazole,
milligrams per kg. Yeah.
and then for 4 weeks, then 2 week gap, and then 2 week again.
Not 2 weeks. Ideally for 3 to 6 cycles like that,
Cycles.
minimal.
Correct.
Okay, why you have to give a 2 week gap?
because yeah, it is side effects are agranulocytosis. So the
Yes.
patient will go into neutropenia and
Correct.
pancytopenia.
So high risk of recurrence because it's already a ruptured hydatid cyst. So there will always there is already a spillage which has happened. So this is to prevent recurrence.
So
Okay.
what is the complication of this, Ajit? Apart from recurrence?
Sir, when the anaphylactic shock, sir, the patient can sometimes when
That
we
you
are
have taken care of,
into,
yeah. That is
yeah.
during the time of surgery that you have taken care of. But recurrence in that site is one complication.
Yes, sir.
What else can happen? You can have visceral, multiple visceral hydatidosis, systemic hydatidosis,
So
affecting
we'll
the
move on to the
peritoneal
next one.
cavity, spleen and everything, kidney and all that.
I think
Okay,
we have time for one more.
Okay.
yeah,
So
we'll go to the next one. Right. Can anyone describe this? This is a 54-year-old lady for the last 6 months having severe abdominal pain and some weight loss, no bowel disturbances, no vomiting. The main complaint is abdominal pain in the central abdomen and right lower abdomen. Can anyone describe what this is? Please. Vanita, I will.
So it
It
can
is
be
a
mucosal of
intraoperative
appendix, sir.
specimen of appendix,
Describe this.
dilated and inflamed.
Describe this. What else can you see? It's very classical.
Yes.
Mucocele of appendix.
Who said that? Who said that? Mucocele of the appendix?
Exactly, yeah.
So you should actually, as Dr. Lakshman said, you should describe what you are seeing and then come to a conclusion. Yes, I agree that this is a specimen of post-operative specimen of the appendix. What else are you seeing? Okay.
Distended appendix. So
Correct.
it's suggestive of some connection inside the appendix. Most likely mucosal, because that is one of the most common disorders of the appendix.
Correct.
and
So
it appears that the base probably is spared. Base of the appendix is spared there. It's not dilated.
Niranjan, that is that is why I put this up. It is it's a appearance parallax, but that is actually part of the cecum that has been actually removed. So that is why I was coming to. We got a CT scan done. Even on the CT, the diagnosis was not clear. They said it is thickened loop of ileum. That is the diagnosis they gave us. So with that, and because the patient had persistent symptoms, we did a diagnostic laparoscopy and found this large mucocele of the appendix, which is going up to the base. The base was also involved. So can anyone tell me what are you going to do in this situation? Will you go ahead and do a laparoscopic appendicectomy or will you do something else? Prashant?
So if the base is not involved,
Base is involved,
and
I
if
told
the
you. The base is involved.
so if the base is involved, then you have to probably do a right hemicolectomy, sir.
Right hemicolectomy is a bit of overkill because this is a benign condition.
Prashant, what are the
Limited
possibilities? What are the possible diagnoses for mucocele?
What else can it be?
Mucocele of the appendix can be due to anything. What are the possible two main possible diagnoses? Is
So
it
it can
always
be to
malignant?
carcinoma tumor of appendix, sir.
Carcinoid?
Hello.
Okay.
So it can be carcinoid, sir.
Okay.
Is it always malignant?
No, sir.
So what is the benign condition? Mucinous cystadenoma of the appendix.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Okay.
So that's why Ravi Shankar sir is asking that question. Is right hemicolectomy warranted always?
Okay, sir.
So the problem with this is when you are doing it laparoscopically, because it is so turgid and very, very distended, there is a potential for you to rupture the appendix when you are handling it. And as Niranjan said, if it is coming up to the base, then you have to resect the base also. So which means you'll have to do is maybe a sleeve of the cecum and then suture that. So which is why we did a Lanz incision and removed the appendix in toto along with the sleeve of the cecum and then sutured it, and then post-operatively sent this for histology. It came back as mucocele of the appendix. It was benign, and patient is doing well now for 1.5 years after the surgery without any problem. If at all this ruptures, then you get into a problem of the very, very severe condition, what is called lemon on sticks appearance of a patient who develops, what is that condition, Prashant?
Pseudomyxoma peritoniae, sir.
Pseudomyxoma peritoneae. It's a very difficult condition to treat, and you should try and avoid it at all costs. See, if the mucocele is not affecting the base, and if you can handle the appendix without, the possibility of rupture, you can go ahead and do a laparoscopic resection. But if you feel that there is a potential for it to happen, and if the base is involved, then you may be advised to do a small incision like a standard appendicectomy before and take it out, so that you completely negate the risk of it rupturing.
If there is a strong preoperative suspicion of malignancy based on the CT findings, then right hemicolectomy is warranted.
Correct, Niranjan. That's
I think, sir, we have to end probably. It's 5:26.